Hi, everyone. Welcome into episode 81 of Coffee and Chel. We didn't get canceled, and he wasn't half bad, so we decided to bring back Papa, also known as Brent, because I don't call grown men daddy. So, Padre, welcome back. It's been another week, and we're going to spend an hour complaining about the video game that we play too much. So, fellas, I'll start with you, Brent. How was your week? Tell me all the dad things that you did.
Ugh, I mean, personally related, not much is really new. I just pretty much do the same thing week in, week out. Work, gym, have to deal with children, put them to bed, and then go get shit kicked in this game. So,
Aren't you excited, kids under 25? That's what you got to look forward to. The same day over and over again. And, hey, and sometimes you don't
also
get
known
sleep.
as it's the dream.
It is
This is the
also
dream.
the dream. This is what you're working towards. Yes, want to make that clear. Stu, what have you been doing?
Didn't do much this weekend. I went to a bonfire last night with a bunch of
Yeah, I
people.
saw that. What's that about?
Yeah. Cam Jansen or whatever, he was there, and one of his buddies. I actually kind of weird enough. My daughter's like best friends with his daughter, and we never knew it. Like I met the parents, never knew their daughter existed, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And then like put it together because like my wife was like doing a play date one time, and I'm like that literally is like Cam's like best friend, and then we just kind of put it together, and then now we're all buddies. So it's just really random how that worked out. But
That's pretty sick.
yeah, went to a bonfire. My daughter, she had a great time, and yeah, it was fun. And so yeah, I just kind of hung around here this weekend. Kind of got some stuff done around the house, but
Excellent.
yeah, nothing crazy. How'd your guys' Hut Champs runs go, Papa? I watched a little bit of yours. I went past my bedtime. I came in at the best time when you were playing Reddick, man, because we all know anybody that's played Xbox over the years, at least that's from probably, I would say, maybe Illinois over to Vancouver, knows about Reddick, man. I've even matched up with Reddick, man, back in the day.
Why is
and
he
this
so
guy,
famous?
he's just a notorious. Well, first he was a notorious
Easy.
dodger, and then Papa told me. Well, so back in the day when you could dodge, you just back out.
Yeah,
right?
you
wouldn't
back
get
out.
lost.
Hazy Hype. He was the West Hazy Hype?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dashboard,
Yes.
you name it. And then
Mhm.
Papa actually told me recently that I guess he started sniping you. So like you can take the story from here.
Mm.
He has a hilarious overlay of his gamer picture. It's so funny.
Okay, so like originally, like, he used to be like pretty big in the community from what I was told, because I wasn't really involved with like Twitch and all that beforehand. He used to be like in everybody's stream, and then one day he went dark. He has his messages on, but he will like he will not respond to you.
Okay.
He is completely silent
Okay.
in any context. He has
Yeah.
one friend that he kind of talks through.
Yeah.
But basically, when I moved over to Xbox, then NHL 20, I
Yeah.
played him a ton. And then in 21, I played him a ton. I started streaming.
Okay.
And then he got confidence and started, I
Oh,
guess
that's
he's
the
been,
worst.
yeah. I mean, him and I've gone back and forth like over like the last like 3 or 4 years. It's more of like a running joke that him and I have like we have these battles. So I even have like an emote like related to him of his logo. But basically, like I had this idea where whenever he snipes me, I'm gonna go dark like him. I erase my camera, I deafen my mic, and I just play the game.
Okay.
And so what I did this week is he sniped me in my first game of the day. And my first game of the day
That's-
is
okay,
always an
pause there.
absolute like yeah.
That's like the thing that people don't understand. Like, so anyone that watches, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're a viewer of mine, a more casual player, when we talk about stream sniping, this is the issue. Okay, rivals, it's whatever. It's when you go into champs and you have to play someone who's going to win 18 or 19 games in your first three. And obviously, that if you weren't streaming, it would be a much easier experience. That is the issue. That is why stream sniping is brutal for the streamer specifically, especially me because I'm awful at the game. But carry on. So he snipes you.
So he snipes me on my first game of the day, and my first game is always a mess. Like mechanically, my thumbs aren't there. Like the brain is thinking a little bit. The thumbs aren't like it's not going to the thumbs at all, which I already have like half the thumbs of any other top player.
Yeah.
And then I gotta start like kind of like pacing myself. It usually takes me to like game 4 or 5 to kind of like get in a groove.
Okay.
And I was like, nice, man. I was like, you know what? Okay. I had the overlay ready for him, waiting for it, and I absolutely destroyed him.
Yes.
And it was like his goalie prevented it from being like a Sharks game. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, we're catching strays early here. Oh my God.
Sorry, but it's true.
Dude. Okay, yo, let's start there. Okay, Stu, have you seen anything like what the Sharks are like. The most recent I could think of is 2016 Colorado, but like this is next level bad.
I was texting with Merrick actually last night, and he's like,
Yep.
"This is 74-75 Capitals bad. Like
Yeah.
this is as bad as
What?
I've ever seen it." And it's like sad for me to watch it because I just hate when teams are like bad in general because that's just, I know what it does to like a franchise because like I witnessed it here. Not yes, we didn't have it for 10 years, but we had it for a couple of years, like where the team got put up for sale, and then because they got put up for sale, then they just clean house. They're trading like Pronger and Dimitra, and go down the list of guys we had.
Pavel Demitra.
Like,
That's
and they were a wagon, and then McKinnis's eye gets taken out practically. It's just
Yeah.
like one thing after another. And then the Blues were in shambles, which led us to our great first overall pick, Eric Johnson, which he, funny enough, was with Cam Jansen when he tore his ACL because they were drunk on a golf cart and fell off and ripped his leg up before his
Did
first
that
game.
get out in the media?
Now it's out in the media.
Okay.
Not
That's
because-
news to me.
Yeah.
Not because of me. Cam's put it out now.
Oh,
because
okay.
it's like whatever now, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like we'll have Cam on eventually. He's so funny. He's got some. But yeah, I guess they were going down a golf course. They were doing a team bonding before the before his first ever game. First season.
Oh my God, this is his first game.
Yeah,
Before...
and this is the first overall pick. And Cam tells it's so funny because it's Cam, but he's like, we were running our golf carts into each other down a fairway, and all of a sudden, like his leg gets caught outside the golf cart and tears his leg up.
Dude, how scared was Cam?
Cam said that they tried to see if they could fly him back to St. Louis, get him on the ice, take a video of him,
And
like
then just wipe out?
faking an injury just so they wouldn't get killed. I'm like, you guys are unbelievable. So
Dude,
yeah, like,
man, I can't
no,
imagine.
I
going there.
remember those days. Like Scott Trade Center was barely filled, so it's like, and it makes me sad because like the Shark Tank was always like this wild arena. Patty Marlowe, Thornton, Chichu, Setaguchi, and just go down the list of guys I had over the years. It's like Nabokov, you name it. And it's like I always love staying up for those games, listening to Randy Hahn and Drew Remenda, and it's like so sad to see they just sound so depressed, like
Dude,
listening to them on the game.
It's funny because like everyone's just giving me shit about it, but I have to be very clear. I saw 15. Yo, I got into a debate on somebody. Usually I don't reply. I tweeted out something like, "This is what happens after 20 years of being great," and I got like they're the most mid franchise, and I had to go through that. Like they made the playoffs 15 years, and they got knocked out in the first round twice. They made the conference final 5 times, like cup run. Obviously they didn't win one, but not mid. They dominated the league for most seasons, and the issue here is like they're better on paper than what the Blackhawks had last year. And the Ducks when they had their injury, and the Blue Jackets after their injuries. Like, if you look at last year's 3 brutal teams, like, the Sharks on paper are better than those. So this, like, it leads me to believe that, like, I can't imagine going to work knowing that this is a waste. That you're literally, like, you're collecting a paycheck, yes, but, like, as an athlete, I don't know what that feeling's like. It's got to be brutal. You know that you're just going to work, and obviously professional sports is a lot different than because they're all super competitive. No one's in the professional sports league and not competitive. So, but losing the way they're losing is like, dude, it looks like it's practice. Like it's Quinn's got to go. Like if Tortorella was the coach of the Sharks, it would be okay to watch. And I don't want them to win, but I want to see 5 minutes into the first, and it's not 3-0. But anyways, so and I bet you any money they don't get Macklin Celebrini or the first overall pick. I bet you any money.
Apparently, he's that's what Merrick told me too. Because I asked him how good he was. He's like, he's really freaking good. So
you know what's funny? Montreal fans.
You guys should have had Bedard. That's
that's the truth. Yes. But it's funny because just let's poop on popular franchise right before we get into the actual hut talk. But like last year was like one of the deepest drafts. Like according to experts, I don't know anything, and I'm assuming that you guys, you know what I mean. We just hear what you hear, and then like you regurgitate it, like knowing, like pretending that you like watch all these guys. It was like so deep and like except for defensemen, and I guess this year it's like completely different. I know in the OHL, that's the main thing. But I was listening to Steve Ellis from the Athletic, from Daily Faceoff, and he's the big prospect guy. And I guess it's all defensemen, like 15 potential first round picks, which is like a wild overcorrection. And it's just so funny to me that like with Slafkovsky. And like him needing to be sent down, but I don't think that they can do that because it's Montreal and they will just burn him at the stake. The fact that they reached on a defenseman because they needed one last year when like they could have took Michkov, but went Reinbacher, and then now this year there's like these amazing defensemen. It's just like I don't know, like it's just kind of funny. It's just kind of funny, and I don't know, maybe that's like the Leafs fan in me.
No, I don't know. I did look at the roster the other day and I was like, I don't understand. Like you said, I just don't get like why
It's
they
not
have
that, dude. Like the forward core is like I said,
like
go look at
Granlund
Chicago.
and Hoffman and like
Duclair.
I know he scored last night, but like
Yeah.
they should be like embarrassed. Like they should have more respect. Like first off, they're all in contract year. Second off, it's like you guys are NHL veterans. It's like have some respect for
The
yourself. A little bit.
Kakinen one, dude. He got run into in the Vancouver thing, and you see all 5 Canuck guys go and skate over to him. And there isn't a shark to
Leafs
check.
mode.
Like that's what I said. I was like, this is like the Leafs. You know, like that's a whole other thing.
I thought it was funny that the Ryan Reeves haters because he's just so irrelevant.
Oh,
he
let's
sucks
argue
at
about
hockey,
this actually.
And he's so pathetic and blah 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 blah. It's like he doesn't get on the ice when Marchand's on the ice. It's pretty simple. He
That was a
doesn't
good
play
point
penalty
that
kill. He doesn't play penalty kill when he plays power play. When you're the home team, you get last change. When is the Leafs ever gonna? I mean, like. It's never going to line up. So it's like, what do you want him to do? You want him to get off the bench like it's the 1970s or 80s and grab the guy and take up a suspension? It's like,
do you listen to Kipper and Bourne? I know
you
used to listen to Hockey
a little bit. It's I miss Kipper. Like it's just hard because it's like later in the daytime for me. So it's like,
I listen to it every day. Listen to it every day. I love.
Yeah. What was he saying?
I'm a very old school person. I think when it comes to hockey because I'm a true believer that like it's the one sport where you have to like answer the bell. If you mess around, it's the only sport where you can go and do that. And he was like, at a certain point, they're gonna make the playoffs. Everyone knows that the Leafs will make the playoffs. Poppy, we can agree. Like the Leafs will just make the play, no matter what. That the second that Liljegren, and again, I don't even think that was a dirty play by Marchand. I think it was just kind of a mess. Should have been a penalty, but it was just a mess when he got tripped up into the boards. Like at that point, Kiprio says at that point it is no longer about the 2 points, and it is about making sure that a dude that has just continually hammered your franchise, like Marchand has embarrassed the Leafs for like a half decade, that it is no longer about that, and the entire game is now just go and make sure that he can't do that. And there was something about it's on the coach too. Like obviously you can't send someone out like Reeves. Everyone said Reeves. Go and send him out and just start tomahawking people like you're Chris Simon. That's psychotic. You can't do that. That's totally not it. You could send Reeves out on the ice next to Marner and Matthews if they're not going to match up on a line and make sure that Reeves chases him around, takes an instigator, just embarrasses him, just make sure chases Marchand around, doesn't need to knock him out or do anything dirty. Just to make sure, and he'll take the 5-minute penalty. They got to kill it now. Maybe they lose the game. Because, dude, the clip of Tavares, who has the C, not saying a word as they're carrying Liljegren off the ice is just shocking. And
or Bertuzzi laughing.
Like, and obviously some people deal with like awkwardness
look.
like that because like it might be something like, dude, you're a fucking idiot, and he's just like laughing it off. Like people do like weird things like that. But Bourne said something great like, it's the 5 guys, Riley included the core 4, and then the rest. I can't wait for 3 years from now, 4 years from now, for Ryan Reeves to go on Spit and Chicklets and tell everyone what the room is like. Because I bet you any money that it's like, whenever someone new comes in, all these new guys that come in to bring toughness, and it's just such a separated, like, we're here, but we're not a team. Because the 4 or 5 don't do anything in terms of sticking up for each other. And the first game against Montreal, I thought the Reeves effect, not him being on the ice, but just him making everyone feel like they got to go defend each other. The first game, dude, it was like someone got into a scrum with Marner, and Matthews went flying in. Giordano goes flying in. I was like, oh my God, maybe it's working. And bro, it is not. Like, that is a team that is going to make the playoffs and get smoked every year in the playoffs because they just won't stick up for each other. They can score all the goals they want, but they won't. It's nuts. It's frustrating to watch because I love the Leafs.
I asked Merrick, I'm like, what is wrong with them? Like, I was like excited for him, like, because Bertuzzi and like Domi and stuff, and he's like, well, they're not. I'm like, obviously,
like them this year.
Well, yeah, I just like the way they're built better, but I mean, those are the guys that are supposed to go after Marchand, probably. You know what I mean? Technically, like that's like his weight class, but yeah, he's just like they have no defense, and I'm like, man, they should have signed Petro years ago.
That was it, dude. That's the one. I always say that Tavares is Petro or Hamilton. He's one of them.
I mean, you don't sign, you move on one of those guys, like whether it's Nylander, Riley, whoever, because obviously Tavares, no one's going to take that contract. Not like he's been bad. It's just like it's such a big contract that it's like no one's going to take that contract. But Nylander is a very movable contract.
He's so
and even
good
Riley,
right now, dude. He's the best one on
even
the bunch
Riley
right now.
was. Oh no, I agree. I just meant like back in the day, it's like, I would have taken Petro over one of them just because it makes the team better. Not
2 years ago. Could you imagine if they just went all balls in and said, you know what, Marner for Matthew Tkachuk?
Yeah.
Like, how good
I mean,
would the Leafs
that would be pretty lopsided, though. Tkachuk is a better player than Marner by a mile right now.
I'm talking about before his 100-point season. Like, imagine, like, or even,
yes.
I mean, it's actually kind of comparable. Like the Huberdeau for Tkachuk trade, right? Like Marner for Tkachuk would
disaster out in Calgary.
It's not good. Yeah. Anyways,
it's because he got all the second line matchups in Florida when he played there. Barkov got all the tough assignments. But we'll go back to real hot talk. Sorry.
Yes, I know. I feel bad because
what did you end up doing, Papa? What did you end up doing in Chance? I asked you about right. Like, how did you end up finishing?
I went 17-3. It was a rough week.
Like top 20 or top 25.
I'll get top 50. Yeah,
whatever. That's Sleazy. Did you finish all your games? Or not even finish them?
I got 13-7, and it was it was an ugly 13-7. I started like 6-4. So I did last week. I did. You know what? I'm gonna live through the life of someone who's either unemployed or in high school, and I'm gonna finish my Rivals games before champs. But it was burst last week, and I don't think there's 100 games like it used to be. I think it's like
it's 50.
It's 50 as well. Okay, that explains it because I was able to grind out, play the 50 burst games, which is half the time, and I ended up playing, starting my dad champs at like 7 in the morning on Thursday, and then I got it on Friday, on Friday, and then I played a few games on Saturday and a few games on Sunday, and I would start out like 11-1 or 10-1, and then I would fall apart in the end. This week, I could not get the 50 games done. It took me forever, man. Because it was the full length, right? It was the classic. Mm-hmm. Bro, it took me until Friday night, so I didn't start champs until Saturday morning. And after my first 5 games, dude, it is a different animal on the weekend. And then I did it on stream. I started my first 10 was like 6-4. I salvaged it. I went 13-7, so I salvaged it in the end. But it was an ugly 13-7. And I've realized that I don't do any of the glitches out of like we talked about this, out of just because I don't want to. First of all, if I do it, it's a bad look. I think a lot of them, and you know what I mean. Like it's different. I've told Padre this like even last year. I didn't do the glitch wrap until like February or March, and I was like, enough's enough. Like I can't hang because I
can't not use the glitch wrap in 23.
That's the problem, man. I tried until like February, man. I tried so hard, but like once you get to Division 2, man, I'm just getting mushed by like Division 1 guys. And so this year there's so many more glitch goals, but they take a little bit of skill. It sounds dumb to say, but there's button mechanics. Like there's actual mechanics to them. And I know them all, and I could be like, okay, if you give me 15 minutes in practice in the lab, I could go get them, and then I'll be,
when people say that, don't you? It reminds me
terrible
because me and you grew up, and maybe you, Papa. I don't know how big you are into football. Just like you remember Madden Nation, right? Like the show on ESPN, like the show they used to have, the Madden Bus. Sleazy.
It might not be.
Well, you remember though, don't you, Sleaze? Like
I
when
don't,
you were in America.
That's an American thing, I think.
Dude, that was like the first time I remember like video games being like sports video games being like mainstream, right? Because I feel like esports and all that's taken, or like esports, I say with quotations, it's taken off in the last like 7 years, I'd say. But before, I remember I thought it was like so cool that it was like, wow, it's on ESPN, like Madden, like they're talking about the video game, and they'd play like they'd all represent a team, and they like win money. And like Problem, the guy that streams on Twitch, who's huge, he won the whole thing.
Then.
Yeah, he won the whole thing.
He's a dad. He's like,
I think I'm almost positive people in the chat or the comments can tell me. I'm almost positive he won the whole thing in Times Square, New York. They played on the big.
I remember. I actually he has a picture of. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure he won it, and it was so cool because I mean back then I was like the St. Louis Rams were here, so like we had like a representative, and it wasn't from St. Louis, it was some random guy. But I remember like watching it every week because like back then I had time to sit there and watch like TV shows when I was a kid. But no, it's I don't know. It's just so different. Like now, like everything's so, like organized now with like our esports. But yeah, it was pretty cool back then.
Speaking of organized, our newest member to the pod, Papa, brought some structure, and he actually made a list for the first time in the history of the
It did.
podcast of what we should talk about, which is why we love him here. So I'm gonna start. I'm gonna go through these. Okay, so we're gonna start with some small things that we would love to see changed, and these are potential things, I think.
Yeah, like
Number
what I describe it as like, sorry, I just want to start. It's like small things that
Yep.
they can implement that
Yep.
can go a long way. Like
Yes.
easy little fixes. I don't want them to, I don't want to
Tear
say, hey,
down
you need to
HUD.
change all this giant things because it won't happen. But if you can, if it's little tweaks that can make everybody's experience better, a lot better.
Yes.
In my opinion.
All right, I'm
Sorry,
down.
continue.
So first one, icon pack opening skip, bro. That's 5 minutes. Like I'm just waiting to hear that.
Dude, in my first stream, I spent half an hour on that
You
screen
made him.
because I did Lemieux. I was like, I'm not going to bed till I make Mario. And boy, that was a terrible idea. Like, what a bad promise. Because I sat there, no joke, for 2 hours to build him after the pack opening, basically. It was an absolute nightmare.
That
I
was
was like, this is the
35
worst
guys.
decision ever.
Dude, I remember last year when it was the event collectibles, but you needed like 80 of them. I remember like in June, it was like one of the summer months, and I did it off stream, and I timed it, and I sent it to the game share chat. I'm like, fellas, this took me 21 minutes of just hitting autofill, going out, opening the pack, and I was like, oh my god. No, but I agree. The icon skip thing, yeah, 100%. 100%. Especially because it's a choice pack, you know what's in there. It's not like they're like, oh, who am I gonna get, right? Like it's let's say to the gameplay. This is always scary because I think gameplay is super subjective. And I think that like what I enjoy, you might not enjoy, and what you guys enjoy, I might not enjoy. But let's get your guys' thoughts.
Except this one. I know I'm right. This one, I know I'm right.
Boarding
sensitivity.
Yes.
My God. Like okay, let's think about this from like a hockey perspective of how many boards get called in like say a NHL team plays 10 games. How many times are they getting called for boarding? Probably
pretty rare.
one
That's
time.
A dirty hit. Like that's
maybe one. Yeah. It's like it's an aggressive hit from like 3 feet away from the boards, or you hit them in the numbers. I would love to see them kind of like revert it to that. Like you should want to be able to go and ram a guy through the boards in the video game. And it shouldn't be punished. It's a video game, and this is the most arcadey game they've made in a while.
You know what's funny? I was thinking about this the other day. So there was a thing last year that they came out and stated that they wanted all of the games. It was a new dev team. They wanted all of the game modes to play the same. So like EASHL, franchise, like offline, HUT, versus. They all wanted to play the same because prior to that, like different teams and developers would work on different ways of the game being played. And from like a logic standpoint, that makes a lot of sense because they save a lot of time. If you're fixing one thing in World of Chel, right, it would fix whatever, right? Like, so it made sense. Here's the issue. So, well, last year when they added human goalie controls, like human goalie animations to the goalies in HUT, that's what gave you the quick wrap and made them absolutely awful. This year, so the reason why you're getting CPU penalties is because the game plays the same as it would offline. That's like everyone was wondering because there never used to be offline penalties, right? The game plays is designed to play similar in all modes. So you get the AI penalties, which are brutal. I think that I'd love to know if there's a casual fan that enjoys it, that makes it like more seem more like real hockey, right? But I feel like I'm with you guys that like when it comes to a video game, I want the control. Right.
Even my friends that don't play like we do,
yeah,
they bitch about it to me. Like they get annoyed when they're playing ESHL and they don't have enough guys or something, and they have like two, and their computer keeps taking penalties. Like they get annoyed with that, and like that's the problem is when they try to make it all the same. You can't have something like let's say, 6-on-6. That's all humans, right? Or you know what I mean. So it's like 3v3. It's all humans, right? But then if you do, 2v2, there's computers like. You can't have it play the same as like the franchise mode just because, yes, I understand in franchise mode you need the computers to take penalties because there has to be some penalties in the game, right? Yeah. Like something, right? But that's like separate the offline and the online. Like it's so annoying how they've done that because it's so infuriating when you, especially with this game with the full pressure thing, you're already like battling that. You know what I mean? So that's hard enough. So then you get your computer to take a penalty after you kill off a penalty is even more annoying.
It's brutal. The worst. So here's the point I was trying to make, though, is that The game is designed to play the same across all modes. Here is my issue. If you go into squad battles on Superstar or a moment that they've made that is ridiculously difficult, okay, because everyone hits everybody, like they just ragdoll you. You really can't. The Giroux ones is what I'm thinking of specifically. Here's my issue. The game mode is designed to play the same as every other game mode. Why in Hockey Ultimate Team does it play different in every Hockey Ultimate Team mode? Like, squad battles, if you try to fire a pass through the crease and 4 people, it's intercepted immediately. But if you are manually controlling that defenseman, everyone is just blindly firing passes through the crease for an easy tap-in. I don't know how many goals I've given up because I hate not controlling my defenseman. But that is like one of the go-to goals is just like, and I don't understand. I really think this game doesn't work unless you separate the modes. Like,
No, it doesn't.
there needs to be an offline
100%.
way to play. Like, are you guys noticing like the forced cross grace a lot?
Yes,
the higher
it's bad.
Yeah,
it's
Yes.
brutal.
100%.
And there's no way to defend it
Like,
other
what-
than the bumping or maybe taking an interference call preemptively, right?
Yeah, I mean, basically for me at least, I grab my winger anytime it gets into my zone and start cycling. I'm grabbing a winger every time because
Yeah.
I'll let my AID do what they have to do to take away intercepts, and I'll just bring my winger down low.
But when
Are
you
you-
play superstar squad battles, you guys don't play squad battles, but when you play, like, if you do the moments or something like that, there's no getting a pass through if someone's there. Because,
No,
like,
they're
pass
unreal.
intercepts are fired way up. So it's just very frustrating to me that the game plays different inside huts, but it's forced to play the same as every other mode that's outside of Hockey Ultimate Team.
Speaking of moments, for the love of God, like I did the Giroux moment.
Mhm.
It was fine.
Yeah.
But like we need to figure something out to make things register better. Whether it's hut rush,
Yes.
hut rush, or
Hut rush this week
moments.
is, like, broken.
Like when I'm getting down and I'm taking a one timer and they're calling it a snapshot, but they're or like
Or the catch
whatever.
release.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
let's figure this out because there is people that do grind hut rush like Maze Joel. Like there's people that they can make their lives easier. Like I've done it a few times and it's infuriating just because it's like I remember like finally the way I got my one timer goal for the
Forehand.
Giroux was he reached out his stick with one hand and poked it in, and I'm like, wait, that's the one
redirect
timer.
counts. I think that was like their
Broken.
makeup to try and,
Mhm.
like, I did the same thing. I found that harder than the 3 bottom left goals.
On top of Papa's point too about the boarding in my mind in real hockey, Papa, like, and so he's like, you guys know this is like when the guy's got his back turned and they got the stop sign on their back. You know what I mean? Like when
Yeah.
you grow up
Mhm.
and you plaster
Yeah.
him into the boards, that is boarding.
Yeah.
Not when he's coming down
How
the wall,
rarely does that happen in the game?
and it never really does because people have learned since they were
No,
Since
in
they hit-
huts.
Oh.
Like,
in hut. No, because no one hits from behind,
and no
like,
one's turned. Yeah.
No.
But
You just
I
go
get
for the board
boardings
pin.
every day because I'm coming down the wall, I'm angling them off. I'm not even crown walling them. I'm
Yep.
just hitting them
No.
clean. And like, is my guy doing the because like when they hit, they like hold their arms like this and they go and hit. Like, yeah, is he doing that? Sure, but that's I don't know why that's boarding. Like, it's either I always make a joke. I say it's either boarding, charging, or elbowing. It's one of the
Yeah.
3 every time, and I don't know what to do. I've messaged the producers. I'm like, hey, just like heads up. These penalties are ridiculous. Like it's out of control because you can't even play D. Like it's brutal.
I wonder.
Yeah, angling a guy off on the rush and you're getting a board off of that is crazy to me.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Or charge.
If you wiped out CPU penalties again, that would definitely go a long way, I think, and then lower.
They are, I think, going to do that. By the
I
way,
think
so
yeah. So there is a patch coming early November, which it is now. I don't know if it's next week. I don't know when it is. But yeah, it sounded they were vaguely mentioning that, I guess, in their last like patch thing that something was coming early November. So we'll see if that gets addressed. The next thing you want to talk about are tweaks to the pressure system. So what do you feel needs to be tweaked to the full pressure system?
Like I was saying, basically the first thing was they need to, like when you're entering the zone and you go and fire like a chuck shot far pad and you already got 40% of the bar filled. To me, that's nothing to do with pressure. So like what they should be doing is there should be like, like I've said again, this might be too hard to implement, but
I don't know. Yeah.
when you're entering the zone, your first 15 seconds, if you fire like a puck like on your entry, that's not related to like a pressure scenario. So it should maybe instead of going to 40%, it goes to 10%. Then you get like another rebound. Okay, now it goes to 20%. And the more you're in their zone, then you've been in for 30 seconds, you take a shot now it's really filling up the bar because you've been in there for a little while. Whereas like I'm getting these full pressures against me. Guy fires at far pad. Then he goes and comes in, body checks my guy, and he's about 3 seconds of possession till full pressure. I'm like, there's nothing related to being under pressure.
It's funny because like I personally don't mind the pressure system. I think that it like creates a way to play hockey in real life that has nothing to do with the real life thing. In a weird way, like I feel like the way that you get from A to B is not like how you play hockey, but the end result is somewhat closer to the real thing, if that makes any sense. But
an arcadey way of doing it.
It's a very arcadey way to get a sim-based result. That's what I said before.
Yeah.
And the issue that I think that what's going to happen is like we're always going to be like trying to fine tune it, and hopefully that they keep doing it because that is a change that they can make. Like the tuning to this is not developing something or implementing some new skating animation and like that. This is literally just adjusting the sliders of it, right? Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. I agree. It's always going to be a delicate balance because there'll always be a way, especially at the level you guys play, and even myself. I always say like once you get into Division 2, the game plays differently because you match Division 1 players and you're just kind of stuck in this like, and below that it's not a lot of TOA, it's a lot of just like end to end, right? And I think at that level, like you're always going to find people that find the path of least resistance. That's just human nature, right? Especially in video games, they all just want to win overall, everything else. And it's very difficult to kind of get right, I think. But yeah, like I wonder if like getting it off of a pass, like either a one-timer or like a pass and then a shot within the first like 2-3 seconds of receiving it would be the big chunk instead of just shooting it. I wonder, because like that would indicate like that's when you're under pressure. Like I think when someone forechecks, like in real NHL, they dump it in, they scrum along the boards for a while. No one's getting like the goalie's not getting tired, right? Kicks out, and then maybe they cycle around a little bit. Then there's a one-timer. Goalie makes that save, goes into the corner. I'm like, oh, okay, hold on to your butts, right? Like then it kind of
something's happening here.
Exactly. Yeah. You make a pass into the middle, you hold for a second, then you wrist shot upstairs. The goalie makes a big save or whatever. Like okay, now we're under pressure here. I do like the turnover one. Like when you force a turnover, right, on the breakout, that's a great one. I think that makes sense. Where that rewards it rewards being aggressive, which I think is a nice change. I think that's the nicest change of the full pressure system. But yeah, when you get into I had a couple losses. Okay, actually, I didn't even tell Stu this. I told Brent off. I'm gonna show you guys on camera. This is Sleeves when he's not streaming. All right. So I played a dude in my Hut Champs run, and admittedly, it was pretty rough, okay? If you notice, I am using a different chair. It is not my Isles GT gaming chair, because my other one took the full brunt of me losing to a dude that ozone ragged me for the entire third period, that all that's left of my chair is this shattered piece that I rested my hand on, because it took one full dad clap right off. Thank God it was off stream. But yeah, so like it's super frustrating because when you get someone that just passes it around the whole time and your guys are dead tired, there's nothing. You literally have to wait for them to shoot. But when your goalie has no energy, it's just in. So you have to block it.
This chair?
Yeah, that's gone. Yeah,
What part did you break?
I broke off the hand part, the where you rest your elbow.
Armrest.
Oh,
I did, dude. I did.
These things are cheap. You can kind of tell. Like I've
I hit the end of it.
My kids pulled on it, and I'm like, dude, that thing's gonna break. You need to stop.
I loved it. It was a zip chair. I personally loved it. It was very comfy. But yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, that's dad strength right there.
It's gone. It one swing too. It wasn't multiple. It was just one. That's it. And yeah, frustrating. So anyways, so yeah, I do think that there needs to be some sort of thing, dude. Are you able to play the puck from your goaltender successfully?
Not every time. Sometimes I'll go to pass and it'll just drop right in his inside of his pads.
Dude, it's
had that happen to me a few times.
It's like 60% success. I actually get it to one of my players. Like whether it's
I'm covering it a lot.
The PlayStation delay, or maybe it's slower because it's like you're under fatigue or whatever. But now I literally cannot play the puck confidently because it ends up just being a giveaway and end up just getting scored on. It happens way too often. So I don't know if you guys are experiencing that because, man, no one likes to cover the puck and wait for a whistle and all that nonsense. But what was the other thing?
Well, that leads into the last point too. That leads into if a goalie covers the puck in real life, that's quote unquote the goalie alleviating pressure off of like the defensive team. So wouldn't that, in theory, should reset the meter? You got a new line, fresh line out there. They're not under pressure. They're just taking a D zone draw. That's to them. That should be, it should be completely reset back to 0, or maybe way down to like 25% if you were close to like maxing it and the goalie covers it. Brings you down to like 25%, maybe. You know what I mean? I don't feel like right now, if your goalie covers it, that's it. Your pressure's over.
I agree.
I
That's
think
how you
100%.
That's how you control a game as a goalie. Like,
I think that
your
your whole goal when you're under pressure is allow your goaltender to just see it and not give up a bad one time or things like that, because your goalie is going to be the one that stops it. I 100% agree. I think that is one of those artificial ways to make the end results. If someone is dominating, they don't get rewarded. But if you stop it, you don't score on your chance when you're humming around and their goalie is at 0 energy. 100%, it should go right back to 100, the goaltender. And when you bring your forward on, full pressure still active. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with the meter being active, but your line mates should be full, which I think they are. But the goaltender 100%, because what we're seeing now, it's not the players that matter. When it's hard to get the puck back, sure, as they get gassed, but man, when your goalie's gassed, dude, a wrist shot from anywhere goes in. And so It's much more dangerous to have your goaltender at 0. And yeah, you're seeing guys just go left and right behind the net to get him to move a bunch. We definitely got to see that. I would love to see. I agree. I think the goalie, when they cover it, you should be rewarded for sure.
What about then power plays and penalty kills though? I feel like it should be really, really weak on a power play. You're supposed to be playing your own zone. It's not really a pressure thing. It's I'm keeping them to the outside. They're not getting a ton of I don't know. It's tough to say.
It's tough
I think it's so broken for a power play.
You should be rewarded when you drop. That one's tough because I understand what you're saying. You already have an advantage, but the reason you have that advantage is because they had to go out of their way to do something. Let's pretend the CPU didn't.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know what I mean? But if they trip you because they're spamming R1 because they need the puck back, that's tough. I think that might be the same issue though. You get the full rest unless it's off an icing. Change your line. And your full pressure still active, but everyone else is at full strength. I think that
would make power play penalty kill a happy medium if they had it where it reset back to 0 and you have a fresh line out there. Then that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's where it's got to go eventually. Just because it's always going to be cheese though, because even if they do that, I'm sure that the guys would find a way, to get that. Let's talk about the new event. Okay, I had someone ask me. I was telling Stewie this. I had someone ask me, is this the best week of Hut content that we've had in Hut? And obviously the first reaction is no, obviously not. This game sucks, whatever, right? And I had a hard time coming up with a better, because to recap, Halloween, we got the free Giroux. He might not be everyone's cup of tea because he's not 6'4" in Division, if you're in Division 1. But he's a very good card. Fast, great face-offs, and he was completely free. It took a while, and it was a little frustrating for some, but I also think that if you're going to give away a card that's one of the highest rated in the game, it should probably be difficult.
I didn't mind the difficult. I just
need to register. Yeah, that's ridiculous. They need to fix that. They need to address that.
Whether it's Hut Rush or that.
Yeah, Hut Rush is pointless if you are not going to address the technical issues with it.
I also think they should make Hut Rush. They should reward people for playing online more and bumping it up for playing online, because then that would make the mode more active. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't make it, then no one's gonna play online. If you're playing online, it's the same people over and over again in Hut Rush. So it's make it increase more for playing online. That way it rewards people. I even said that with MLB. I wish MLB in their
they did that for years, and this is last year they went heavy offline, and it was
with the player parallel system, right? The XP that you get for your players. I wish they would increase it. If you use them online, you reward the person more for using them online. I know that's a whole nother game. They do, but it's a little bit more. Or it's I feel like offline and online. If you're willing to use those guys online in ranked seasons, you should get rewarded more. So that's why with NHL, it's Hut Rush is one of the most dead modes. I wouldn't be surprised to not see it in the game next year.
Same.
So that's why I'm like, okay, entice the people to do it, because once you get the objectives done, everyone's like, all right, well, I'm done. Like, I don't know. So, anyways, but back to the event.
Yeah, so Giroux comes out on
Giroux is-
Halloween.
Are you guys using Giroux on your teams?
I am.
No.
Yeah, but you're
my
one.
team's
too
You're a
stacked.
meta. You're a meta
It's my team,
Matthew,
yeah.
bro. Chat,
Yeah.
viewers don't listen to him. These two
I'm
are
using
gonna,
him.
sorry.
I'm
Yeah.
using him on my team just because I don't.
Stu will only use people that have 90
free to
plus
play.
face-offs.
For free to play guys, this is
Yeah,
definitely
free to
the best week though. 40% of the community got a Gretzky or
That
a
was
Mario
nuts.
this week.
What do you guys think about that?
40%.
You're an
I think it's
owner of both, so like.
I mean, I have them both, so to me, it was irrelevant. I haven't even done the damn
you didn't
challenge.
care?
I mean, not really. Like, whatever. Mine's 91 overall. Theirs is 88. If they gave him a free 91, I'd be like, oh, okay. Like,
Yeah.
relax, EA. That's a little bit too generous for a guy that's like, it realistically costs you about, to make one of them, $500 Canadian.
It's about
if you don't get any pulls.
million coins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
if
hot
guys were
take.
getting a free $500 card at a 40% rate, I would be
Yeah.
like, let's dial this back
Yeah.
a little bit here.
And hot take too. Like, I think yours obviously is better because it's gonna be better in the long run. But
Yeah, because it'll upgrade. It's still good.
I know Sleaze. Maybe I think you might be on the other side of this, but I don't think UF or Unstoppable Forces is good this year because of how broken the hip checks are and just
I
some
agree.
of the weird hitting. I think the UF works in situations where you go to hit a guy and you bump them. Where in like years past, if you bump with Breezewah, they're still gonna fall because the truck goes right. But now I feel like because of UF, if you bump them, that's when it'll work. But I feel like when you hit them, you can still hit them. Where like last year, if you went to hit a guy with UF, he wasn't losing the puck. I remember that Tage Thompson, that 85 Tage Thompson. I used him for like 4 or 5 months. I'm not even kidding. In 85 because he did not lose puck. I know he's 6'6" or 6'5", but like.
Yeah,
It was
prime time
crazy. It was crazy how good UF was last year.
You brought this up to me like earlier in the week, so I started paying attention. And again, I play Division 2, and you guys are playing like
But
top
still, it's
100
still-
guys. It's top
you're
100
still
guys, yeah.
hitting.
So I started to pay attention to it, and you're 100% right with the current state of hip check. So you play anyone that's just sweating hard, and the second they essentially forecheck with their ass, like when it goes into the corner, they literally turn around and they're just like coming at you. Unstoppable Force doesn't do anything. So the second that they hip check you, but man, if they're just trying to bump you or even use circle, if the person that is attacking, like actually going for hits, isn't using a hip check, man, like, and they don't have truculence, I just hold on to it forever still. And I don't see as many hip checkers because I'm only in Division 2. But again, it's a different gaming experience once you get up into like the 15 wins and above in Hut Champs because everyone's using the hip check. It's a completely different game. But I guess in that instance, if hip checks don't impact it as much and it's way harder, which it looks like they're addressing that. Again, the new patch coming, like that's apparently one of the things.
I just want it so your butt is the only thing that can hip check.
Yes.
If the butt
And you
is
gotta
the
make a
only
lot of
thing,
contact.
that way, yeah, and that way you have to like. It even takes more of a skill because you have to angle your butt to hit the guy, not angle your shoulder bent over, your head bent over, like just make it so it's the butt. That's all I'm asking.
I agree. I love it when you cuss too. So I think
Wait, did I cuss?
No, you said butt.
Oh,
Which is just funny to me. I don't know why.
I try not to ever cuss on here. Yeah. So.
me
to
and
make it-
Papa have been letting the F-bombs go.
Oh, you're not supposed to? No
I
one
mean,
told me.
I don't know. I guess it really doesn't matter in the end.
No, I just always try not to just because like I don't know how
That's
Steve's like YouTube works. I don't know if it
Nothing
like
like-
messes with anything.
I didn't like
You
it.
know what? I'm gonna try not to cuss anymore. I'm gonna say butt from now on.
Excellent. Okay, yeah. Okay.
And frick.
Butt cheers. So, and frick's a good one. So,
That's Mark Scheifele. Mark Scheifele says that. He always says frickin'.
He looks like a guy that would say that. Yeah, so I agree. I think, dude, the one we're in like a shift. So close quarters was nerfed, and that's kind of a big one from last year because it was so overpowered.
Yeah.
I'm not noticing it as much, but I'll tell you this: my like go-to goal, and everyone has a go-to goal. You know, whether you can call it a glitch goal, whatever. You have a goal, no matter what, that you will always default to until someone just completely removes it. And mine's like the far low side, just for a shot. Like low far side, you can you just come across. Kachuk is the X factor that I got early on, and he has gold or silver close quarters, and I notice it there because I shoot low far side with him in tight, and close quarters will activate inside the face off dots or a little bit more inside. They nerfed it a little bit. And I still notice it quite a bit there, but it's the cost because, spoiler alert, this is how it works. EA has it's not me or any other game changer. EA has data on what abilities are activated. And they take all the data of how many of each of these abilities are activated, and then they take that data and make the cost reflect the most. So the abilities that are being used the most, that is why they're expensive in game. So that's how it works. So like wheels, for example, a lot of people use wheels on, McDavid and things like that, and that's why it's so expensive. And same thing with close quarters. It was so used last year that's what we're going off of, and I don't think they'll ever make changes in game. Hopefully during the season, I pray to God they don't ever make AP changes again. But
Those Reddit's coming at you again.
well, that was a war, dog. And I don't have any input on them because I now accept like it is what it is, right? And I really don't think that any of them are overpowered or underpowered in terms of cost. I just ignore it. It is what it is, right? But yeah. So close quarters is one that I don't think has the same usefulness. What's the ones?
Agree.
What's the ones that you go to?
Papa, you go first.
Oh yeah, I would say like back at you if your guy has it, throw it on him.
You know
Like
how many people came
guaranteed.
to my
But
Twitch stream that said I listened to your podcast and listened to Papa, and now I started reverse hitting, and it's awesome. So I just want
eye opener.
Yeah.
Eye opener
Shout out-
to the
shout out to
community.
the
I knew it was
community.
gonna happen, and everyone needs to get a Gordy Howe now. They
It's
need a
coming.
gourd.
It's coming. Yeah, also enjoy it. This is your first market influence. So I went to the comments and Gordie Howe was going for like 500K, and it's like Papa single-handedly raised his price 120,000, and now people can't buy Gordie Howe for 500K.
It's funny. So what I saw, he was as low as 450. He jumped to 750.
Yeah, it's nuts because it's nuts.
My bad,
because
guys.
That one is, if you think in terms of how much it costs to make him, it's a no-brainer. That because he's not that bad. If you look at his attributes too, everyone's so hung up on Mario and Gretzky, more because of the name and they're faster. But Gordie Howe's card this year is like pretty well made. Like it's not bad.
He is.
Just in attributes alone. And usually he's hammered in like skating.
He feels faster than even 91 speed. He's 91 speed as a 91 overall, and he feels faster. He feels like Solani speed.
Didn't
What do
he
you
get
use
force
besides
it
back
forward?
at you? Or does he have back
Yes.
at you too? Gordy does?
He does. Silver back at you and gold truck. So that's what I use on him. He has silver quartz, but I just don't. I'm kind of leaning away from quartz now completely because like at least in high div 1, you're not getting in tight like that with a good opportunity that often. So I'm leaning towards the things that you're going to be using in game a lot. So you're always getting like going for so many hits. I'll throw a truck on everyone that has it in my top 4 D
how many penalties
pairs
do you get
or my
because
top
of that?
6. I mean, I think just because of the boarding issue, too many. But I'm averaging, I think, in Hot Champs like 5 minutes in penalties a game right now, which like for me is like I used to average like 1 minute per
used to
game in Hot
not have a
Champs.
hit, and I average like 25 hits now.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like I was saying on like last week's
episode,
that I went from a 2-hit player in Hot Champs to a 30.
Yeah.
And so I'm basically kind of revolving my game around like what I'm doing in the game.
Yeah.
I don't want to force things, so I'm not really like I'm not using stick 'em up on anybody because I'm not really poking that much because poking is so inconsistent this year. Like if you can like, tap it, even with gold stick 'em up, you're still like, poking off their stick and they're picking it right back up. Now you've lost all your agility from it, and they're blowing past you. So that's gone by the wayside.
The only time you can check is when you're defending correctly and you're back skating and they're in front of you. But the second they get to the sides, it's like you're just 50-50 and you have to know that you're losing like the skating race at least there. So
okay, I pulled up my team right now.
Do you use Unstoppable Force?
UF no gone.
Really?
Just with reverse checking, I'm like, someone who hits a lot. I'm seeing how UF works against like when I'm playing against a UF guy. If you hit them dead center mass, it doesn't matter what they're using. If they can have gold, silver, nothing on them, they're gonna get absolutely steamrolled the same.
Okay.
So I'm sticking with I have my team pulled up right now. I have the 88 McDavid with edges and wheels on him, and this card is the best card.
Best card of the
right
game.
now.
Thank you. Best card of the
By
game.
a mile right now.
It feels like
By
you're playing
a mile.
on land when you have.
But if you don't have this card yet, guys, you need to get them. Sorry for my next market influence, but if you don't have them, you need to.
Yeah, that one.
And then Solani, I have gold wheels on because he's playing my top 6. Breezeball with truck. I have Newendike with quick draw.
Do you shoot
Brooks
from the
Orpik
point?
with truck. Yes, yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I should be throwing like, so you're basically saying I should be throwing like Heat Seeker on Brisebois?
Not he. It's funny because I take more wrist shot ever since 23 because
Oh, seeing eye.
So when I couldn't do the glitch wraps last year, I noticed that tips work way better because of ESHL's gameplay, and I would love. All I do is take wrist shots from the point now because DDD one timers just don't go in, unless your goalie's like dead tired.
Yeah.
So seeing eye has been sneaky, a little bit. And Heat Seeker, it's interesting because I used to always be when X Factors first came out, I was like, dude, who's taking wrist shots from the point? Like it just seems like a pointless ability. And now it's a little bit interesting because like Brisebois, same thing. I tried. He just costs too much to have all three things on. But you're right.
Yeah.
Like,
You want to hear? Sorry, go ahead, Papa. No, keep it.
So I was gonna say there's one more ability. It's like if you guys haven't noticed, Born Leaders changed this year.
Same.
Now you get energy for hits and for blocking shots. So I have Lemieux with that on right now because he's my 1C. He's getting so much ice time. He's gonna be getting 4 or 5 of my hits per game at least. So I want to be able to get some energy back through him. So if you guys don't have, if you're not
Huge
running Born
change.
Leader and your guys in your top 6 and you're hitting, you need to just throw it on your guys. You're gonna see like a significant increase in like your guys' energy by the end of the period for sure.
Especially with endurance not being this
Not going
good,
up
or, you know what I
anymore.
mean, not going up this year.
Yeah.
So here's like a quirky one. Like I'm running elite edges on the X Factor Eichel, and he's unbelievable. Like for righties, like right now, I don't have the good Lemieux, so I can't rank him, at least for me. McKinnon and Eichel, base McKinnon is unbelievable. I've told everybody like that card because of the stupid stride. Unbelievable. Like he's for like budgets, he's nasty. I said that last
he's like
week, I think,
under
on the podcast.
30K now.
And he's like everybody should have him if you don't have coins. Eichel's X Factor is ridiculous too because he got the broken stride and he's got elite edges. I actually put Make It Snappy on him just because it's only 2,
Really?
and he's like on like my top
It's
6.
so hard to
What's
quantify
weird
those.
is Make It Snappy works when they're on their like offside, not their one time side, like they're offside.
Yeah.
So like when they catch it, so like since he's a righty, when he's on like the right side and he catches a back door, he scores every single time for me.
Interesting.
So like I'm not saying like go run all your guys like on their like their correct sides, but maybe if you did and they had Make It Snappy, I don't know if they would
Do you
start
run him
scoring.
on the correct side?
No, but
I do.
there'll be
Other
like weird.
times.
There will be like weird instances where he'll somehow get over there, right? And then like I'll force a pass over to him, and he scores every freaking time. And like it'll pop up, Make It Snappy. Another one I noticed too, because of the goal line glitch shots. Sorry, I'm so sick. The Schneip is like really good with Newendike on those goal line wrist shots. Like it activates a lot. Schneip, I noticed.
Oh, like when you shoot upstairs.
Yeah, and I use shutdown on Kevin Lowe too.
I think shutdown
know-
is better than truculence this year.
Yes, and I know that like because it's like I've always said like, and it's kind of annoying. I wish they'd just do away with shutdown because I wish that they'd make you pick your poison, right? Like you either pick stick 'em up or you pick truculence.
Yes, I agree. And
it's really just it's just them combined into 8. So that's the way you have to think. I think Kevin Lowe is a stud, by the way. I know a lot of people are like Brian Leach. I think Kevin Lowe is right there between Brisebois and Robitaille. Like I think he's better than. I'd rather have him than Robitaille personally.
Gonchar, that new Gonchar is exactly like Leech.
Yeah.
You could literally just get low and then make Leech for a fraction of the price because you don't need to use a team builder.
And I like with you, Sleaze, me and you've been. I think we've been like the quick draw kings the last like however since whatever they started.
I try to tell everyone the amount of comments that people just don't understand.
They don't get it.
Yeah,
they don't get it. I used to use, and it's my favorite card ever in the history of HUD. Not because he was a blue. Ryan O'Reilly's X Factor. The first year they had X Factors, 85 overall. All you do is just get him to his base card, and he had gold quick draw. I had him on my 4th line for the whole year, and he just won every single draw, 99 draws. But yeah. So starting with the event, you brought up Gonchar. Is there any of the event cards? And I know Papa, like you, I don't know. Are you using? I figured you'd use the Ovechkin, but you might already have his X Factor.
No, I already got him. I took like
Ovechkin's
the
a
event
must-make,
one.
in my opinion.
So if we don't think UF works, what are we? Are we using anything on him then, or are you just using
He's
him?
6'3",
What's his
230.
silver again? It's
puck on a
what's his
straight.
other ability?
I gotta give props to them.
Yeah.
They made like custom builds. So if you look at the prior events, it's just
they did.
plus. It's like +7 to all the attributes or whatever, right? All of these cards, if you look, it's like they've all been like worked enough where like I think Ovechkin has like crazy hand stats and he's faster because he's a rookie and his defensive awareness is like 80 You know,
Mhm.
so
Yep.
it's really low. So I gotta give them props. I don't give them credit about a lot of things, but like that was pretty cool. But even if you don't activate anything on them, like there's not a lot of great righties. Like it's on the left side, there's a lot because there's McDavid and Robitaille and all those guys. But on the right side, I don't think there's as many. And at the high end, like what you're chasing, the cards you're chasing, and
Like realistically, in order, it's Gordie Howe number 1 as a winger, Solani number 2, Ovi number 3, and then
Mario
I guess
center.
you got. I put Mario as a center this year. I don't think
That's your
he's
top
way
five. That's
better
your
as a
top five
center.
righties, right?
Yeah,
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 and
let's-
then I have like Bill Guerin on the 4th line, but
Okay.
he
Has he
requires
sucked?
Truckins to be effective.
Really?
He needs Truckins to be good, in my opinion.
okay.
I don't like truck on forwards. I don't know why.
Same. I have it in my head. On defenseman, I think it's mandatory if you can.
Wrong.
I love that.
So
Yeah,
good.
I love different opinions. Let us know.
No,
Yeah. So
I
because
just-
that's
I'm
what I was
afraid
talking
I'm gonna
earlier
get
about, like
penalties.
when I grab my winger in my D zone, if I have a truculence winger out there, if I have
That's a good
if I have
point, 'cause
Gord
you're
out
not-
there,
you're not
I just bring him
controlling.
down and
Yeah.
they're like LTing in the corner, like going back and forth. I was like, oh yeah, you want to sit in the corner there? And I just bulldoze them with Gord
good
every
point.
time. I'm like, give me my puck back.
I didn't think about that
Or
because
the
like
forecheck, you blow them up. You're like,
Hey.
my puck.
Hey, Silver, or X Factor Ovechkin has Silver truck.
yeah.
Oh,
So that's
yeah,
a lo-
but he's
that's a
too
low-key-
slow right now.
Yeah, but you know
That's
what the thing
the
with
problem.
Ovi? You know what the
Ovechkin
thing
is
with
really
Ovi?
slow.
They're always gonna give him the cupcake cards just because it's Ovi, and like he's gonna keep like
That's after
breaking
last year.
Yes.
Didn't
Down the road.
Wasn't he awful for like the first time ever last year? But then they gave him like a speed synergy like early, and he got like kind of up to what like everyone else was a little bit, and he became
Yeah.
He was kind of he was a mid card ish. He
Yeah.
was a mid. Yeah.
I just think like that was a really good thing, and they brought back the Hut Millennium mechanic. So to tie this all together, the Hut Millennium event, I don't know if you enjoyed it, Papa, but I think it was one of the best ones because you actually collect cards.
I'm curious to see what they do for this.
I might get. Oh, let's do
Collecting.
guesses. Let's do guesses. Who's the hidden one? Or you can make a guess on week 2. Obviously, we're getting Crosby. If we got Ovechkin, I'm assuming we're getting a Crosby.
What if it's just Crosby?
Like,
That's
is
what I
it?
was
No,
actually
they
gonna
would never
say.
do
Crosby,
that.
Crosby was my guess.
What, the ultimate?
Hmm.
Like the
Yeah,
no, it can't
a
be.
rookie Crosby,
It
or
can't
like
be
a
because they
cup,
did
like a
Ovechkin.
2009 Crosby. That's true. So it's probably gonna be.
It's
that's a
gonna be
tough
like a
one. I think
2005 Sidney Crosby. I wonder what his stats would look like because if they're gonna make custom
they hadn't
builds,
already given a Thornton card out. I would have thought it would have been Thornton.
Thornton. I said this on stream. I think Thornton would have been a great one. I said Jaromir Jagr.
Yeah.
It's gonna
That
be
would
an
be-
Yeah, that'd
88. Like he's gonna be.
So
an
so
88.
all you have to do is just get their 82s. That's it.
Yep, that's it. Which is
Yeah.
very
And-
easy
and
because
it's
you just
super
put one
easy.
collectible. It's just one collectible. I think.
And I double made Ovechkin, so I had
Sam, yes.
I could keep the Ovechkin. because I don't have his
Yeah.
X Factor yet, so I just made him just so I have him. You know
So
what I mean?
They're giving away 3 collectibles via objectives, and again, I don't know if you guys can do them because it requires a little bit of offline play. But so let's say you get those 3 from it, you need 2 more. Just go in and buy an 84 for like 7,000 coins now. The market's crashed after the fantasy event. Bro, it was expensive making Teravainen the day before. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I was paying
Did you guys?
full
yeah,
price.
Did you guys both do Tavo?
I
Nope.
pressure made him because of my
I did
content creator.
Chikrin.
I wouldn't
I
have.
did Chikrin too.
I'm
Let's
glad
go!
I'm glad you did
No.
Chikrin because you just would have been
Let's
annoying
go.
the whole season
We're
if you
gonna
didn't.
we're gonna have no, I'm not. I would
You
not. I
would
would
have
have
been. You would have been.
I
had
would
you
have been
not made
more
it.
annoying if I made Teravainen because I'd have been like, this little rat's not even on my team anymore. Because
The,
I would have been.
yeah,
I would have been bitching the other way because I can't play him on my team.
if I wasn't a creator, I wouldn't have made him. The only
No,
reason I made him is
your
'cause-
reason made sense. Your reason made
yeah,
sense.
like
I get it.
because he's like the hotness and like everyone is like following Carolina games now. It reminds me of Duchesne. So like not having him would have felt like just like not right.
So it's funny. Our buddy Larson is. We're all friends. He's freaking out. He doesn't watch a lot of real hockey. He has like the Score app, I guess, in Canada. Like,
Yep.
I guess you can. I never didn't even know you could download it in America, but I guess I'm gonna download it. He set the notifications on so when Chikrin scores. So I just keep like busting his balls because he's like, you better not be screwing me over on this
I
pick.
think
I'm like,
it's
oh
just
whatever.
I think it's just risky. I think that
So
if you-
I always
Yeah.
tease him and I'm like, he scored, and he's like, you're an idiot. He didn't score. He got an assist. I'm like, okay. It's so funny.
He tweeted out the other day that like defenseman X or Evo card should get
I
points
know.
for an assist.
By the way, my new meme is going in Twitch streamers chats, and like it's not gonna work on you because you're gonna be like, "Shut up, Stewie." But I go in there and I'm like, "Oh my god, Tara Vinen on IR. What do we like? What in the world?"
Dude, you
and
did that to me.
Dude,
You did. You
it's
can't.
so
400 people are like,
funny.
"Wait, what?" And everyone's freaking
Dude,
out.
it's so it's so funny to watch the reactions because so many of these kids don't watch any hockey at all,
No.
and they're like, Carolina didn't even play, and they're
It's
like,
my
whoa,
favorite
whoa, whoa.
event. It's my favorite event because like everyone, dude, Duchesne that one year was so funny. It was legitimately your like Twitter would explode every time Duchesne potted one. And I love that part of it. I actually do. I think I get a kick out of it. So I made Tara Vinen. I had Hurdle because I stick to my, I practice what I preach. You make your favorite players.
I agree. Yeah.
Prior to
He's cheap.
the 10, yeah. So this sucks because I used all my objectives, made him cheat for 200K on the objectives. Awful now because I gotta say I didn't think I assumed they were professional athletes and that they would show up a little bit. Not the case. And I'm concerned. I am concerned that Hurdle. I think he'll get 20. I think Couture will come back. Everything will be a little bit better, and Hurdle will pot 20.
Maybe you should like chirp Hurdle like on Twitter or something like the crazy.
What,
like
dude, I'm gonna kick a dude when he's down, bro. He is
like
dragging
our
him
crazy
and
dude.
Eklund.
I have the funniest story though.
Dude.
So like talking about like chirping athletes, right? You know what I mean? So we were playing on, I guess it would have been Saturday night. Yeah, because remember when Jack Hughes got hurt? So like that game was in St. Louis, right?
Yeah.
So we were playing sixes because we're all trying to level our guys up for LG, and I finally got Charles Ferris, our buddy Nippin Biscuits, aka I'm suing the NHL. Everyone knows him from New York.
I gotta post that on Twitter there's a lot of people, my viewers that have no idea what that is.
So funny,
Best
right? He's
clip
just
you've ever seen.
so tone deaf. So Robert Thomas just gets done playing his game. He says, "Hey, you want to rip some SHL?" I said, "Sure, we're already playing. Come play with us." So Charles is all excited. He's like, "Oh, I'll play with an NHL. I'll play with it." I'm like, yeah, relax. So he gets in the party. We start talking about, and you would have loved this. You would have been dying. So Jack Hughes gets hurt, right, that night, and Charles doesn't pay attention to anything. I say Jack Hughes gets hurt. He's like, Jack Hughes got hurt. Jack Hughes got hurt. This is so great. I'm like, you're literally like spiking the football on a guy getting hurt. He's like, yeah, we're ruthless up here in the Northeast. I'm like, I understand that. And his dad comes down the stairs.
Ranger fan, by the way.
Ranger fan, yeah. So his dad comes down the stairs. He's like, you say Jack Hughes got hurt? And you can hear his dad in the background. He's like, yeah, Dad, Jack Hughes got hurt. I'm like, what is wrong with this house? And Tomer's sitting there, and Tomer's like, yeah, I was 10 feet away from it when it happened. I saw it. Like, it was like, and I'm like, dude, I'm like, Tomer, this is what you deal with from fans. I go, so when you go to New York in the Garden, you have a guy in the 300 section, Charles Ferris, hoping that you break your leg. I'm like, dude, that's and like he was just like he could not get over how Charles was. I'm like, that it's just so funny to me, like how fans can be. It's like Charles, like, I don't care. Like,
they think of them as like entertainment pieces and not human beings. So like, when a guy gets traded, I now like think of like, dude, his kid's got to go to a new school. You know what I mean? Like, his dad was like,
"Sell my house."
Yeah, your house is gone. Who's taking that mortgage payment? Like,
he was like, "Dad, I'm playing with an NHL. I'm playing with Robert Thomas." And his dad's like, "Who?" He's like, "Robert Thomas." He's like, "He plays in the NHL."
That's
like,
he's great soundbite. If he
funny,
the
man.
audio in like the back,
crying.
Like, hey, Dad, I'm playing with Robert Thomas.
No, it literally is like Will Ferrell. Like, "Hey, Mom, where's the meatloaf?" Like, that's what he is. He is Will Ferrell, like in Wedding Crashers. But it was so funny. I was like, man, this is like something that you would not say when you meet a professional athlete. You don't say that stuff. No, but anyway,
so good. He's also awesome. Friend of the podcast. I hate the Blues. I hate the Blues.
Now you cheer for Bob.
anytime. Yeah, so I did the same thing after the media tour. There's a lot of guys that like I really couldn't stand as hockey players, and now I'm like, oh man, I'm just taking a look, seeing if every time Robert scores, I'm like, yeah, friend of the podcast, he buried one. You know, like that's kind of cool. But yeah, so anyways, to tie
back to the event. Did you guys? Anybody else though? Just Ovechkin. That's the only one we're using, pretty much.
I think you can. If you're trying to get the objectives done for anyone out there, you can get Gonchar, pay $10K, and then you can get him to his 85. We're renting the collectibles. You know, for us poors. Unlike
I'm only going to 85 too. By the way, sleeves on Ovechkin.
Oh, I think no. I mean, like, dude, like you're so careful, dude. you're gonna realize this, Papa. Stewie is literally the cheapest hut player you will ever meet, ever. Dude, he will
Just
ask
smart.
7,000 times the exact same question before he commits to a hut card. It is wild. Anyways,
Well, he's on my third or fourth line. That's why I'm like, I don't want to.
he could.
I'm like,
I guess it depends on context of like who that you've
Yeah.
got. But for
like
the,
listen to his righties and then listen to my righties. Like I'm McKinnon, Eichel all
bro, I got
day,
the
and he's
queen
like,
on the second line.
and he's Gordy all day. Like, who's your righties that you like using? Hey, here, let's do this real quick. Who's your 5 righties, real quick, Papa, and lefties? List them quick.
Okay,
5
my
righties.
righties, top 5,
Four.
including centers.
4, yeah, just 4. Wait,
Four.
what's this? Yeah, forwards. Only.
Okay, well, okay, I'll go with like my right wingers are Gord, Solani, Ovi, Guerin. My centers are Lemieux, Nieuwendyk, Dreisaitl's 88, and then Heischer. And
Did
my
you
left
get
wing
him, or did
is
you go out and get Draisaitl?
I pulled him
Okay,
untradeable.
okay. I want to make that. There's context there. Okay.
Yeah, and then I got Gretzky on the left wing, McDavid, Robitaille, and Kuzi.
Okay. Sleazy,
So-
what's yours?
Dude, this is gonna be wild. My righties, Ovechkin's my first line right winger. I'm completely
Okay.
free to play, by the way. Right wing, second line, Hillary Knight's X Factor. I use Unstoppable Force on her though. Third would be Solani, and then, but I don't have him to his 87 because I'm poor and I haven't cashed him in yet, so I don't want to waste the collectibles. And then my fourth line right-handed winger is Game Day William Nylander, I think. And then my centers, I've got Nieuwendyk, confirmed, like, just great. Should be the first team builder. In my
I
opinion.
agree. Best center in the game.
Nieuwendyk, second line center. Why can't I remember my team? All I do is play with my team. This is wild. I know Nico Heischer's my third, and my fourth is Joe Thornton. Who's my second line center? This is going to drive me nuts.
You'll have to tune in tomorrow to No Sleeves 12 at Twitch.tv.
Well, I'm forgetting someone very important. Oh, Giroux.
Yeah.
Okay.
Claude.
Yeah.
No,
It's
yeah.
Claude. And then lefties, it's the Heritage McDavid, best card in the game. And then
How much do I want to
Kuznetsov.
spend on that? How much do I want to spend on that Heritage McDavid?
I bought it for 200. It's not that
Okay.
anymore.
Papa, how much you spend?
I built them for like 200K worth in value.
Yeah.
Oh dang! I should have done that.
The game Unstoppable for Silver Unstoppable. Like it's just, I could
Everyone
tell.
said that it was like not worth building him. That's
It
why I
wasn't.
didn't do
It wasn't because you could buy
It
him.
wasn't.
For
I
like
just assumed to be more expensive.
Yeah. And then it ended up being way worth it when they won too. And then I've got
No one thought he was going
Chuck.
to play too.
Yeah, Kachuk's X Factor.
That's an end game card, everyone. I'm telling you, everyone, right now. Matthew Kachuk will get Team of the Year. I'm calling this on November the 5th.
There we
So
go. Love
everyone
that.
out there, I'm calling it right now. He will get Team of the Year. It's not even that hot of a take. I mean, just go look at the stats and go look at what he did in the playoffs. Like he's just stud. And Sleazy is
I think
got
so
a gold
too.
mine right there.
I think so
Yep.
too. Also,
And
the
it
reason
cuts
why I
the
still have
cost.
Hillary Knight, I think she'll get Team of the Year. But
Oh,
Kachuk, Kachuk, I think is going to get. Is in a candidate. I don't know why I can't remember my other lefty too. It is late and I've been up all night, but I'm forgetting a lefty and it's driving me nuts. I'll think about it. But who's your team?
Righties, I go McKinnon's base and Eichel. Like my 1 and 2. I'm not even kidding. Like they're unreal. And then I think I have Ovechkin, and then my fourth line is just some plug. I think it's like a base 80 overall or something. And my centers are Nieuwendyk, Messier. I'm just using them until I get the better Lemieux.
Face-off rating.
Yep, and the face-off
Wow,
rating.
it's
And then
crazy, dude.
Giroux.
It's such a
and then
versus lineup.
Giroux, and I can't remember my last center. Maybe it's like Glendening. And then, like, I'm not even kidding either. McDavid's base card, and then Robitaille, and then Kuzi. And I can't remember it's like my fourth line's awful, so it's all base cards.
It is
Yeah.
driving me nuts that I can't think of my second line left-handed winger, and I
It's
just
not you already said Robitaille, right?
no, I don't have Robitaille. I was going to
Kuzi?
I have Heritage McDavid, I have Kuznetsov, and I have Kachuk, and I'm missing someone that is very good. It's driving me
Hurdle.
nuts. Nope,
No.
Hurdle's not in my lineup. It's Tavo. Jesus, it's Teravainen. He's in my lineup.
right.
Okay, thank God. I was gonna say, dude, I know the card cost me 1,000,000 coins. I knew someone. Okay, that makes sense. So we're wide. We're wide and different there. I
That's
want to
good.
get Gordie Howe. I keep saying Gord. Every time you say Gord, I think Yanni Gord.
Nah, that's his nickname in my Twitch stream. Is just Gord.
Yeah, it's just Gord. That makes sense. All right. Well, that was a long one, fellas. That was a good one, but that'll do it for episode 81. Anything else before we go, guys?
I'm good, boys. That was fun.
Same time next
And
week.
no, I got nothing else to add, but I'm happy to be on here now. You know, it's a new West
Absolutely.
take on
Papa's
on
got the radio
everything. So
voice. And he's
Exactly.
got
We're
the
just
sick setup.
yeah.
Maybe next week when we come in on the intro, we'll make him do like some like push-ups or something. Like
we
in the
had to do
background.
the bench press cam. Yes.
The bench press. Yeah, like Papa
you guys
going
tell me
out.
how
to,
much
like,
to put. You tell me how much to put on the rack. How about that?
That's
the
it.
out.
I did that once on stream before. I was like, "How much am I throwing on the rack?" And they're like, 2 plates.
They have no
done.
idea,
Repping
like,
it out.
what
Yeah.
that is. Like they have no idea. Like 200 pounds. I bet you can't lift that. Like. All right, fellas. Well, it's been good. Thanks for everyone for listening. Make sure you leave your comments. We do read them, especially the angry ones. Stu really gets hung up on those. So we'll see you guys next week, and yeah, have a good one.